Yo, it's your boy Griggs, and welcome back to Griggs Talks, where we talk all things sports. And welcome back to another video. It's like 2 videos in 3 days. Consistency, we're trying to get on the grind. But yeah, I had to do a video today, obviously, because we had the breaking news this morning. Erik Ten Hag is set to be sacked after tomorrow's match against Manchester City. And Kieran Mckenna is the number one target to replace him. So I figured let's do a video. And yeah, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe as you get in here. Road to 600 is on. I think we're about 10 subs away, so I hope to hit that mark by maybe hopefully the end of the show or this video. So yeah, let's get into it. Woke up this morning to the news. Obviously, Erik Ten Hag the writing's been on the wall for a minute now. All that kind of stuff. It's been expected, but no one knew what was gonna happen because Ineos were kind of keeping their cards close to their chest, and the cards kind of got dealt today, and it wasn't even by Ineos. It was kind of mostly likely by Chelsea, so we'll get into that later. But yeah, I think Jacob Steinberg of the Telegraph / Guardian broke the news that Erik Ten Hag is going to be sacked after tomorrow's match. Is it the best of timing, 24 hours before a cup final? Not really. You would kind of hope that maybe they kind of just wait till after the match, which is we all expected it. And there's been rumors that Ten Hag found out after the Arsenal game, right before the Arsenal game. There's been rumors that he found out yesterday. There's been multiple rumors for when he found out. No one knows except the club and Erik Ten Hag himself, honestly, and just whoever the sources are. But yeah, it's interesting. But it was expected, and it's something that has been coming and something that needed to be done. Every single day, it felt like we were kind of getting a little bit negative and feeling that he might actually stay. So it's finally good to find out that he's not, and now we can just start looking forward to the future post Erik Ten Hag, because that needs to come ASAP. Because at the end of the day, this season has been unacceptable. No matter what excuse you want to give him, injuries, maybe not lack of getting his number one targets in the summer, whatever the excuse is, it had to happen, in my opinion. And it was a matter of time. So hype for that. And then Kieran Mckenna, which we'll get into, is the number one target. And I think the reason it got leaked today was because Chelsea have been looking at Kieran McKenna. They've been wanting to sign him. Well, they've been wanting to appoint him. Brighton have also been wanting to appoint him. He's the number one target to replace Zerbi. And United were kind of waiting for after the FA Cup final to announce that they've been having talks with McKenna, yada, yada, yada. But yesterday, it got released that United were talking with McKenna's representatives for about a week now. Omar Barada, Jason Wilcox, Ratcliffe, Beresford, whoever the hell was talking to him, right? No one knows. Because half these people are on gardening leave anyway, and they shouldn't be talking to anyone. But nonetheless, it's not the case. They've been talking with McKenna's representatives. The Athletic confirmed it this morning as well. So now you're kind of thinking, if United are talking representatives of another manager, it's most likely pointing to Ten Hag leaving. Chelsea had been confident of McKenna appointment, but once it got found out that United were going to appoint him, they kind of leaked it out that Ten Hag is getting sacked, and it's been confirmed that McKenna is now waiting for the United job before agreeing to any other club. So it's obviously he's waiting for the United job. It's been said that he believes that the United job might only come around once, and he doesn't want to miss his opportunity. It makes sense. So you know what to do. Go through the comments real quick. Chief Waffle Cop, let me know what my expected waffle is for this episode, my brother. McKenna hype. Obviously, big ups. I have to read that right every single time. That's Burr right there. Javier, I know you from Twitter, my boy. The timing of it generally surprised me. The action, not so much. Knew it was never going to end well from Christmas time. No big club accepts a place. I agree. McKenna hype. Yeah, give it up, bro. You're gonna be welcome to McKenna hype one day. I promise you, man. I'm not the president of it, but I'm up there. But yeah, man, McKenna, I'm excited. It kind of feels like the prodigal son has returned in a sense, because obviously one thing that has happened with United and with Erik Ten Hag, a big argument from Ten Hag inners as to why Erik Ten Hag should stay at Manchester United has always been, they've been using the Arsenal example. What if he's Mikel Arteta? What if he just needs more time? An 8th place finish might be acceptable if we can lay the foundations, yada, 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 yada. You know the excuse. But the alternative that's always been provided to them has been, what if Erik Ten Hag is our Emery, who was the predecessor to Mikel Arteta at Arsenal? And what if Kieran McKenna, who has a more similar career trajectory as a coach to Mikel Arteta, is our Arteta? Because don't forget, Erik Ten Hag has been a coach for nearly a decade now. He is experienced. He has a lot of experience when it comes to coaching. Arsenal was Arteta's first job. McKenna has actually taken a similar career path to Arteta. Obviously, I think he retired very young due to injury, so he became one of the coaches at Spurs in the academy. I think he had a decent coaching job there. I think he led them to. I've read that he led them to the UEFA, not the UEFA, the FA Youth Cup semifinals, which is pretty good for a club like Spurs. They don't usually have the best academy. And now, what's it called? And then Mckenna after that got signed with the United under 18s. He led them to their first league title in a while. That Angel Gomez, Mason Greenwood, Matej Kovar team. I think the Hee-Chong was also part of that. And then he got promoted by Jose Mourinho to the first team. He worked with Jose, I think, the year that Jose got sacked. Then Ole got appointed. Ole kept him for his whole tenure at Manchester United. And Mckenna, for me, was rumored. I think it's been said that Mckenna coached the out-of-possession kind of tactics when it came to United. Carrick had the bigger say influence on the in-possession tactics, which is good to see from Mckenna. And we've been seeing that at Ipswich, his out-of-possession prowess as a coach. And then obviously once Ole got sacked, Mckenna figured that he would kind of take McKenna would take his talents elsewhere. There's no point for him to stay at United. And he went to Ipswich. That's where it kind of led him to. And at Ipswich, I think the first season he finished top 10 in the League One. And then the first full season under Kieran McKenna, they got automatically promoted to the championship with the League One squad. Like, it's a good accomplishment. Let's see what he does in the championship. Probably wouldn't gonna do anything, right? That wasn't the case. In the championship this season, he finished second, automatic promotion to the Premier League while scoring the most goals. And over the past 2 full seasons at Ipswich, Kieran McKenna has the most points across English top divisions, and he has the most goals scored across English top divisions. That's a good coach, man. Obviously, it's just Ipswich. It's just it's lower level. It's not the Premier League, so you have to put somewhat of a asterisk next to it. But at the end of the day, with the tools at his disposal, he overexceeded and he's overperformed, because that Ipswich squad, when you really look at it, there have been much better championship squads and they did not get promoted. That Leicester team that finished slightly above Ipswich, that was more reminiscent of a Premier League squad. That Leeds squad is more reminiscent of a Premier League squad. Yet Kieran McKenna finished above Leeds and he finished slightly below Leicester. So that proves a good job. H on Twitter been talking a lot of Kieran McKenna all year. Seen a lot of great things about what McKenna done at Ipswich the last couple of days. Yeah, I mean, first of all, big up H on Twitter. That dude is one of the most knowledgeable people when it comes to football, especially when it comes to talking about United and stuff like that. He's very fair about what he talks about. He's very objective about what he talks about. He doesn't really take sides. He just talks about and writes about when explains what he believes in. So, shout out to my biggest hater, Paratosh, man. Yeah, give it up, bro. But yeah, and go from number 1 hater to number 2 hater. Both of you got to give it up. But anyway, yeah, Kieran McKenna, man, I'm excited. It's kind of an outside the box appointment. It's kind of like your typical United appointment. You would never think that United would hire a coach that just came from the championship, right? This is big Manchester United. We try to hire the best in class, but it's been evident that United need to do something else. They tried the best young and up and coming manager in Erik Ten Hag. We were all pretty much unanimous about it. You can maybe find 5 people out of 100 that didn't want Ten Hag and would have wanted a Poch instead. So we were all unanimous about Ten Hag, and it flopped in our face, right? We tried the experienced winning manager route in a Louis van Gaal and a Jose Mourinho. Pretty much flopped. We did do the outsider one time with Ole, but that was a club legend kind of sympathy, kind of let's try to get the fans stability back. And Ole kind of overexceeded in the beginning, which kind of kept him in the job longer than maybe he was expected to. David Moyes is obviously the Fergie recommendation, that yada, yada, yada. So we tried a bunch of different managers, and now we're going for kind of similar to the Ole route. It's a mixture of Ole and Ten Hag. Someone that's been at the club before, so he knows what the club is about, and he's young, up and coming manager that the future is bright with him. I'll stop hating for now if you promise to not to have your trademark head loss in McKenna's first season, regardless of the results, as long as they're reasonable. Yeah, bro. I ask you. Obviously, I'm really high on Kieran McKenna. I expect him. Obviously, I will probably have my head lost, bro. I'm a very emotional person. Staff will what's it called? Acclaim to that. When United lose and stuff like that, when it comes to sports, I'm very emotional, and half the stuff I tweet about when I'm during the game, you shouldn't take for real. I just tweet whatever, bro. I just tweet the first thing that comes to my head. I have no filter. And after the game, we kind of have more reasonable more reasonable takes. I've calmed down. My head's clear, all that kind of stuff. So you know what? That's what it is. But yeah, so I'll try my best, man. I'm gonna give him a little bit more time than I would someone else because he's very young. Also to see what Ineos do in the summer. I expect to be bad next year. I don't expect to be good next year, but I'm already tempered my expectations for next year. If United finish top 6 next year and they have a good style of football that I could believe in for the future, That's absolutely a good job done, man. Just compete in the cups. Obviously, don't lose in the third round of the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup or something like that. But make the quarters. Depending if we're in Europe next year, I don't know. That all depends on tomorrow. We might be in Europa League. We might not be in Europa League. Who knows? So we'll see, man. Joe Activist says, Griggs, a lot of people are mad pessimistic after this news. I think there are still a lot of reasons to be optimistic. What do you think? Obviously, a lot of people, what's it called? A lot of people obviously aren't happy about the Kieran Mckenna appointment, and I get it. He's not really someone that, like, you're Manchester United, right? When you're Manchester United, the standard is set at a decent level. You're expected to get the best, and Ineos even promised us the best. They said they promised us the best in class, right? And they've delivered that part in terms of the upstairs. They got the best in class when it comes to the CEO with Omar Barada. They're trying to get one of the best DOFs in class in Dan Ashworth. Jason Wilcox is probably one of the best technical directors in England. So they've done that for the most part. And then when it comes to the coaching, the one thing I'll say about the coaching that's different from the director of football and all that kind of stuff, it's a lot easier to get a top executive, in my opinion, than it is to get a top coach, especially in a coaching market where it's kind of dictating to one way, the young coaches. No one really wants the winners anymore. If you look at it, Carlo Ancelotti, obviously with Madrid, but that's a match made in heaven, like Staffy mentioned on his show in Albans earlier, right? Which you guys came from. He's a rarity. He's a kind of, it's a rare occasion. Everyone else, look at Juve, they're going for Thiago Motta, the young up and coming manager in Italy. Liverpool went for the Dutch route with Arne Slot, who I think the semantics and the data really appreciated within Liverpool's scheme with Michael Edwards. Bayern Munich, big Bayern Munich, who are at the same level as us or not bigger than us, are going for Vincent Kompany, who has a similar record with Kieran Mckenna, right? So it's stuff like that. We kind of seeing which way the coaches are going, and it's a high risk, high reward. If it pays off, you look like a genius. If it doesn't, you look like a mug. It's as simple as that. And with United, it looks like they're going the Kieran Mckenna route. And when you look at the coaching list, you had the winner in Thomas Tuchel, but it's always a what if with Thomas Tuchel. What if it goes really wrong quickly? And Thomas Tuchel doesn't have the record and the resume of stability. So there's that issue. With Kieran Mckenna, you have someone that knows the club. He knows a few of these players, so he's worked with them before. So there's already some kind of relationship there. He knows the ins and outs. Ineos probably promised him a lot, and they promised to help him amongst this course that's gonna happen. So I'll be interesting, man. Yo, Griggs, what camera you use for this? I'm trying to dive in. Right now, I'm using my laptop camera. I have a Microsoft Surface. But I know Logitech cameras are kind of good as well. So if you want to look into that, it's not that expensive either. Just hit me up in the DMs if you want to know anything else. In all seriousness, I think Kieran McKenna, my surprises, his ability to make lineups work is crazy. There aren't a lot of top coaches that don't have significant back. Yeah, that's the thing, right? When you look at the coaching, I talked about this for the last couple of months. There's not a coach out there where I'm looking at him like with zero risk or even very minimal risk. Every single coach comes with risk attached to them. Let's look at the coaching candidates before, not even just from the list, but other ones that have been mentioned with Manchester United. The biggest one, right, is Roberto De Zerbi. There's a lot of risk when it comes to Roberto De Zerbi because it could easily go like Ten Hag, right? Very similar footballing mentalities that they had coming into the football club. Was obviously I think De Zerbi is a little bit more stubborn in keeping his philosophy than Ten Hag was. Ten Hag wanted to kind of become more adaptable to the club, but De Zerbi's style of football is something that will become acceptable by Manchester United. Look at us, but we're not a club that really want JDP football, in my opinion. It's never going to be us, and it's just never going to be us, bro. I look at the match-going fans. If you look at the Zerbi's autoisms when it comes to football and kind of how it's so pragmatic, it's not pragmatic, but it's very robotic. It's very like systematic and that kind of stuff. United fans are going to get bored of that. There's going to be moments where they pass back instead of passing forward because that's the system. There's going to be a mank in the crowd yelling at the player, pass forward, pass forward, pass forward. It's that kind of stuff, right? So there's no coach. De Zerbi, would there have been a high ceiling if it all worked out? Absolutely. But there's a risk when it comes to De Zerbi. Thomas Tuchel, there's a risk. He could easily fall off, right? McKenna, there's going to be a risk the job is too big for him. That could be the case. Thomas Frank, the job might be too big for him too. He's coming from Brentford, by the way. And I think Brentford underachieved this year. Who else was attached with the job? I don't know many other names. There's a Thiago Motta who, what's it called, getting comfortable in the Premier League as opposed to Serie A. It's like stuff like that, man. There's a lot of risk. Michel from Girona. What if he was a flash in the pan? It's a lot of risk when it comes to it. And there's no top coach out there because, bro, let's be real. Other than Pep Guardiola and maybe Mikel Arteta, Xabi Alonso, and even Xabi Alonso, there might be a risk. We have to see what happens next year. there is a lot of risk, and there's no guarantees in football right now when it comes to the managerial situation. So United had to punt. They took a chance, and it's going to be Kieran McKenna most likely, or it could be an Enzo Maresca. I don't know. They're going to take a punt, and they hope Pochettino another one, bro. Pochettino, I don't think Pochettino's been a good coach since 2018. I think he's kind of getting left in the old era, in the old guard, even though he's still kind of young as a manager. But he's getting left in the past. He hasn't really adapted to the modern day football. So it's that kind of stuff. And for me, Kieran McKenna, Paratosh mentioned, is the ability to make lineups. And I think H has talked about this. McKenna is very adaptable to his squad. He has his defined play, which the way he wants to play and stuff like that. But he's very adaptable into which sides do what. For example, H mentioned this on Twitter. McKenna builds in the 3 at the back, right? He has his fullbacks. He chooses one fullback to tuck in and one fullback to kind of go up and kind of have a little bit more of a freedom of a free roll. At Ipswich, Leif Davis is his left back. Axel Tuanzebe now was his right back. Tuanzebe obviously was a center back, so he's going to be more natural playing as a right center back and build up as the auxiliary center back, for example. Leif Davis was a more attacking fullback, had 18 assists this year, by the way. So he gave him the freedom to just kind of attack and free roam and be somewhere along the left-hand side to create chances and stuff like that. At United, let's say, for example, Luke Shaw and Diogo Dalot are fullbacks next year, right? For McKenna, the good thing is that both Dalot and Luke Shaw are comfortable playing as center backs in the build-up play. I think Shaw's a little bit better at it than Dalot, so maybe Dalot is the one that kind of goes up and down the pitch. Or maybe he wants Dalot building up a little bit, depending on who the right wing is, because obviously if you have Marcus Rashford on the left-hand side, Luke Shaw and Marcus Rashford have a really good dynamic together. Their relationship works. Maybe you want Luke Shaw being the overlapper. Who knows? Obviously. So it's stuff like that. He's very adaptable to his squad, and he knows how to make it work, and I'm really happy for that. I'm excited for that. His out-of-possession discipline is very, very good. I look at the press. Both his fullbacks press. The one biggest criticism of United's press this year has been the fullbacks not back in the press. At Manchester United, the first job that Kieran McKenna does as a coach is to make sure both his fullbacks press. And if they don't want to press, McKenna, you're going to have to do the dirty work and put him on the bench, bro. Otherwise, you will suffer at this football club. So that's the one piece of advice I'll give him, man. Only manager I'd want is McKenna. I would give ETH can't have another year, man. He just couldn't have another year, bro. It's just something that couldn't happen. He had to go. I tweeted this earlier. He introduced me to a vibe he couldn't maintain, man. Last year, September to February was some of the best football I've seen at United. It was consistent. Obviously we had a couple losses in there, but it was nice style. There were moments where I looked like genius. You're like, okay, Ten Hag might have something here, especially when he gets more and more players. But it went awry really quickly. Preseason injuries, obviously, I'm not gonna say that didn't play a part in it, but his stubbornness and his refusal to adapt to his squad and his refusal to change up the squad in terms of starting 11, it cost him in the end, bro. Because there's no reason why it took 8 months for Alma to play as a starter for Manchester United. There's no excuse. So yeah, man, I think he has to do better from that perspective. And I wish him the best luck in his future job. Obviously, I don't know where he'll be. He might be in Germany. I know Ajax just hired Farioli from Nice. So maybe obviously that won't be an option for him. Maybe he takes a gap year. Maybe he takes a year off of football. That's another possibility. There's a lot of options for Ten Hag, and I wish him the best. But it's most likely going to be the Kieran McKenna. Obviously, we got to wait for more confirmation, and I hope it is. But I'm pretty confident it will be Kieran McKenna. So we'll see, man. We hope for the best. And Kieran McKenna, welcome to the Kieran McKenna era. And let's do it, man. It's going to be a fun summer, which we'll get into now, transition into the summer targets, because Muppeteers released a list yesterday, and we're going to go through some of the names, and we're going to look at them and see how they look and discuss if they're feasible options, if there's someone that we should really look at, or maybe we should be looking at different targets and stuff like that. But yeah, man, it's pretty much it on the news. Chelsea can hold that, by the way, as well. They wanted McKenna. I know a lot of their friends were tweeting McKenna high, bro. At the end of the day, McKenna was always destined to come back to Manchester United. Him or Carrick, it was either one of them, man. It's always been one of them is going to come back to Manchester United. You can just feel it in the air, right? Because both of them were young English coaches. We're big Manchester United, right? We're the biggest club in England. We always have a heritage of England somewhere. Obviously, Fergie was Scottish, but United always had the best in class when it comes to English. And you heard with Ineos and Ratcliffe talking about wanting the best in class when it comes to the English structure. And maybe that would have been players. It's not upstage with the Dan Ashworth and the Jason Wilcox. And it might be in the back room with Mckenna. So, yeah, man. Chelsea, what's the reason you want Mckenna? It's the future of it. I watched Ipswich. I like the way they play. They remind me a little bit of Ole's team, but a lot more disciplined out of possession. Obviously, Mckenna had a say in Ole's team and the way they played, but at the end of the day, he wasn't the manager. So Ole had the final say. With Ipswich, you could tell it was more of his model. You could tell how much more disciplined they were out of possession as well. I think he's a good player. I think he's a good people's coach as well. I think he can be a good coach for the youngsters. When you look at his work, he comes from the academy coaching tree, and we saw what he did with the United academy players. Ipswich has had a young squad. You look at Amari Hutchinson, who came on loan to Ipswich from Chelsea. The work he did with him. Jeremy Sarmiento from Brighton. You saw the work he did with him. Twanzebe, the way he's kind of revolutionized Twanzebe's career after he got released from United. It's small stuff like that. And when you look at United, and you're looking at a United team that's most likely, I think, is going to go down the lesser superstar players and kind of just more like team players route. I don't think we're going to be getting the big Eagles as much anymore, based on the comments you hear from Ineos. I think Mckenna's the perfect coach, because if we're talking about a squad that maybe Ole had when you have Ronaldo, Casemiro, Varane, all these kind of players, I don't think Mckenna would have been a right coach for that, because I think for me he'll be out of his depth. But this summer you're losing Varane, right? Which I think is still a mistake, but you're losing him. For example, Casemiro is most likely gone. I think for me, Bruno's gone within the next 18 months. Marcus Rashford, I don't think will be here forever. Jadon Sancho is gone this summer as well. You're looking at a lot of big players leaving, and you look at United's targets, which we're going to talk about. You're not seeing players that are going to have the biggest of egos and stuff like that. And Mckenna then at that point becomes a perfect coach for them. So we'll see, man. It's just my only concern with him is going to be the pressure. If he has a bad start, how will he adapt to that pressure? The press conferences, will he be able to motivate the not just the players and the media? Will he be able to motivate the fans? Because at the end of the day, bro, when a manager speaks in a press conference, all our ears are open. We're waiting to hear something that can motivate us and believe. If we're in a bad run, we need to hear something that makes us believe that we can get out of that bad run. And it's just a little, a little mistake in the road, right? That we can just get past it. Just a little break. And we need to hear that from Mckenna. So we just have to hope and pray, man. I'm not saying he's the perfect candidate. It could easily go wrong, but I'm ready to take the risk and just hope. But let's take a look at some of the transfer targets. Big up Muppeteers. For the list, they had it. Make sure I think their YouTube channel is the United Muppeteers. Make sure you guys go subscribe to them. They came out with this list. They're very reputable, so I'm gonna trust them when it comes to this. And here we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's about 7. Seven positions. That United are gonna be looking to upgrade. Well, it's really 6 positions because center back is 2 of them. So yeah, let's say 6 positions that United are gonna look to upgrade in. And gonna look to sign. Obviously, depends on what happens with sales. United needs to get a clear out as well, and I think it's gonna be a key part of Mckenna succeeding. Is if United don't get it clear out the summer, I think it'll make life a lot more difficult for Mckenna. But if United get it clear out, he'll have more of an avenue to kind of choose players that he'll like and stuff like that. Let's start with striker, because for me, it's a needed position, but it's also a position that we kind of have a solid starter in already, and we can kind of go from there. So obviously you could tell from the tweet the colors are in order. Green is very likely, yellow is very interest is there, red is not very likely. The green option for striker is Seydou Guirassy, who plays for Stuttgart. He had a fantastic start to the season. He was going toe-to-toe with Kane for the Bundesliga Golden Boot. He got injured, I think, and then he kind of missed a few games. He came back and kept up his scoring prowess. I haven't watched much of him, so I'm not going to say I'm a know-it-all for Guirassy, but he looked good. I'm seeing some of the finishes. His finishes were fantastic. I know Age did a video on biggest XG overachievers at that time where he was going crazy scoring. I think he was number 1 on the list. So the concern is, will he be able to keep up that kind of overexceeding? Is he just an amazing finisher and he could kind of cheat the XG system, or was it just luck? That's maybe the biggest worry. But price-wise, I think he's at about 20 million release clause, so that's a good price. You already have your young striker in Højlund. You go get a veteran. maybe take the pressure off Hoyland a little bit, I'm not mad at it. And United once a week, you can wait, man. And maybe you can wait another year for getting another striker. The yellow list, you have Vitor Roque, who's on the outs from Barcelona. Guirassy is an event. Is he actually an advanced house to Dortmund? Damn. I mean, that makes sense. Dortmund always go for like kind of the lesser Bundesliga talent. Damn, if he does go to Dortmund, then that's peak. Go down and listen, right? At the end of the day. Vitor Roque out from Barcelona. I don't want Vitor Roque, first of all. I think Barcelona would charge about 40 mil for him. I don't like his height. I think he's very short. I don't think he'll thrive in the Premier League, in my opinion. So I'm not really about that. I don't know who that Talus guy is. Hold on, let me look him up real quick. Is that a Brazilian guy? Yeah, he's a Brazilian striker. Palmeiras. I don't know much about him. Yeah, I can't say I watched him, so that's probably is what it is. That's probably a scout's pick. We'll see what happens. Brian Brobby, Ten Hag leaving probably won't help the case for that. Cheap striker probably. I'm not mad at it. He offers a different profile from Hoyland, but that's something I want to look at. Joselu, obviously Madrid. With Mbappe coming in, he's probably going to leave. Would he be a good maybe alternative? He's had a decent season for Real Madrid. He's very wasteful. From what I've seen, it'll be interesting. What striker profile you want, Michael? Big up my boy Atanu. Obviously, I want something different from Hoyland because I think different profiles when it comes to the same position, I think for me is very crucial. You don't want the same player. I want the kind of all around striker. I want Dom Solanke. I'm gonna keep it a stack, right? You guys know me. I want a Dom Solanke profile. I want the complete 9. I want the 9 that can, first of all, play as a lone striker, is good with back to goal. He's athletic, so he can run in behind. Good technician, variety in finishing. So left foot, right foot, volley, that kind of stuff. I want that, and I don't think Hoyland is that yet. I don't think Hoyland might never become that. But I think Hoyland is a useful profile for the way football is going. But especially if football eventually goes back to 2 strikers, Hoyland is going to be a genius when it comes to that. But I just want that kind of striker. And when I look at this list, maybe Guirassy fits a little bit better. Zesco, obviously, I'm not happy that Xerxes in red. I think Xerxes would have been a perfect striker to fit with Hoyland. He's kind of more the complete 9. Yeah, man, the striker market is very tough. It's not that good either. I think United just find a different profile from Hoyland, and we'll see, man. It's very tough. I want a Dom Solanke, man. Just pay the money and get him. That's what I always thought. But who knows? Yeah, but you look at the red. Petkovic, the Croatian brother. Big on my Balkans. My best friend's Croatian, so he's told me a little bit about him. Not vibing with that. Ivan Toney, for the price that was alleged, I would have done that deal, but maybe United aren't looking at that deal no more. Obviously, he's a different profile from Hoyland, but he's also had a terrible end to the season. I think he went scoreless in 12 games, guys. That's not good. So flirting versus harassment when it comes to Hoyland there. Sesko, young striker. So do we really want 2 youngins leading the line? Not really. Not something you want. So I think Sesko is also Arsenal bound, to be honest. Jonathan David is no disrespect to Jonathan David, but I think he's a decent player, but he obviously has a lot of hype. We all know why he has a lot of hype. Just not my kind of striker, and I don't think he'll thrive at United. And like I said, Xerxes, I think Atami mentioned, I think Xerxes would have been a perfect fit for United, but maybe Thiago Motta takes him to Juve with him, man. Who knows? Right wing. Michael Olise in the green. He's obviously the number 1 target. We all know. Yes, all disrespect to Jonathan David. Yeah, I'm trying to keep it respectful. You know, we got future endorsements to consider. So we're not gonna get rude with him, but I do think he's slightly overrated. Michael Olise, he's obviously green. I've heard rumors. Obviously, I think it's between United and Chelsea. I know he has a past with Chelsea. His relationship with people at Chelsea, so maybe he favors them. I don't know. I think United have him as the number 1 target, so they're gonna go for him. I hope we bring him in. I think Michael Olise would be a perfect fit to United. My only concern would be he's very similar to Ahmad. So do you want 2 right wingers that are the same profile? It could be tricky, but you could also think of the dynamic between Ahmad and Olise, as Ahmad is a 10 and Olise on the right wing. Just the interchange the connection will be amazing. So it's a little bit of both positives and negatives, but the quality, you cannot dispute that about Michael Olise. He's an absolute baller. You saw what he did under Oliver Glasner, the freedom that he had, the shackles taken off from Roy Hotchinball. He looked amazing, man, and he's a top player. And for 60 mil, I think it was just the alleged release clause. You can't get mad at that. Absolutely couldn't get mad at that. That's high quality. He'll be the best right winger the club I've had in a while since probably Di Maria days. So yeah, we can also use Garnacho on the right. So right, yeah, the variety is there. That's why I've always said with like because Paratos mentioned Garnacho on the right. That's why I always said I want United to get a winger that can play both sides. Which is why the guy in the yellow for me would be my preferred number one target. Nico Williams. For me, he can play both sides. He could give competition to both sides. He could give the competition to me that Marcus Rashford has needed at Manchester United. I'm not saying Nico Williams is a better player than Marcus Rashford. That's up for debate. But Nico Williams has a high ceiling for me. Obviously, the biggest concern, I think, is the wages. He's already at 200 plus K because Athletic Bilbao pay their players high wages because the recruitment system is very easy. If you're born in Basque, you're a Bilbao player, right? So it's not that difficult. So he's on high wages, so that will be their concern. But in terms of talent, that's real wing play, man. From the left, he'll cut in, bang, amazing ball striking. On the right, go down the byline, great. He's the best of both worlds. He's someone that maybe a Garnacho should kind of watch tape of and kind of get, maybe learn a little bit from. But yeah, that'd be amazing. To have Nico Williams and Garnacho in your winger room is amazing. You have two guys that can play both sides. Versatility, man. That's what you need. And when I look at Mckenna, he likes his wingers. He likes to get them in isolation. And Nico Williams for me is one of the best ISO wingers you can get out there. Obviously, I think he will prefer Olise because I looked at Ipswich. They always play with the left-footed right winger, which Olise obviously offers. Nico Williams is right-footed. So winger room, you American, give it up, brother. First of all, you live in America too, so don't even get me started. So yeah, in the red, the guy that would have been my number one choice if injuries did not exist because the injury gods absolutely hate us, ladies and gentlemen. Pedro Neto, that is my baller, man. Some say he's my twin. When there's less of a beard here, that's my boy, man. That's my boy. Pedro Neto's my boy, man. It's a shame. 60 mil. It's a shame. First, every day, basketball season's over, man. No one cares. We're talking about United now, man. Grace Talks basketball will be back soon. So yeah, Pedro Neto's gone. Not available. That sucks. Yeah, I heard some. By the way, I talked about this on my last video. Altano, Anthony Gordon, Isak, Pedro Neto, bro. That front three, on my life, that's the best in the Premier League. That is box office. That makes movies. So, yeah, man. So Nusa, I've heard some good things about him. Not my kind of winger though. He looks a little bit slow. Not very. He's direct, but he loves to dribble. But I've also heard his back injuries. So back injuries at 18 is a big red flag. Donald Malin, no thank you. And Jeremy Pino. Some of you in the comments might know because you're from Twitter. Ebe, he's a big Jeremy Pino fan. I think Ashkata loved him for a minute now. I haven't heard about him in a while because Villarreal have fallen off the face of the earth. Yeah, it's probably someone that I think Olise is definitely over. I just served him. Big enough. 1 second, guys. Left back, left wing back. Obviously, I think Romano has talked about needing a left back at United. Luke Shaw, it's a tic-tac situation. Eventually, we have to move on from Luke Shaw. He's not going to be here forever, and the quicker we do it, the better for us, in my opinion. As good as a player that he is, just not the reliable left back that you need. And when you look at the left back, those two guys in green, Ait Nuri and Milos Kerkez. For me, either one, perfecto. It would be amazing. I think Ait Nuri is a great left back. He's been balling out Wolves. He's amazing. He started as a left back, left wing back at, I think, was it Angers in France. He's amazing, man. And he's looked really good at Wolves. That Wolves team has been absolutely sensational under Gary O'Neill. They've been playing amazing, and he looks like the complete fullback. As for Milos Kerkez, he's been at Bournemouth for a year now. I think he joined there from I think it was Feyenoord. Might have been AZ, one of the Dutch clubs. he's been a really good left back. He's really good attacking wise. He's good at keeping the width. Defensively, he might be a little bit suspect. I've heard that his concentration levels are a little bit off, but that's something coaching can't fix, especially at Kieran Mckenna. So yeah, man, I wouldn't be mad at that. I think either option is good for Aïnouri or Kirkaj, and if we could get it done for 25 mil or less, it'd be a genius move. So good luck for it. That's good. That's good scouting by United, man. In the yellow, we have Anthony Robinson for the American lads in here, the American left back, and Ian Maatsen. Obviously, Ian Maatsen's had a fantastic loan at Dortmund. I think someone like Kieran Mckenna would love an Ian Maatsen. His attacking prowess is absolutely sensational. Defensively, he's very suspect though, because he's a left wing back at the end of the day for me. In my opinion, he's a left wing back. So that'd be interesting. Anthony Robinson would be a good option. I think he's the complete left back. He's a complete package. He go up and down the pitch. He has engine for days. Good final ball. Defensively solid. He's strong. He's quick. He's exactly what you want. He's a little bit on the older side than a Kirkaj and a Aïnouri. And I think he'd be looking more to start now as opposed to being a bench player. And with Luke Shaw at the club still, you can't guarantee that you'll usurp him in the first year, right? So he might want for a little bit more stability. And in the red, you have the two Spanish guys, Alejandro Balde and Miguel Gutierrez. Balde would be amazing, by the way. I saw him a couple times play for Barcelona. Flying fullback, attacking, amazing. You could definitely tell he's kind of a failed winger. Defensively in the Prem, how would that go? You don't know. Miguel Gutierrez, I haven't watched enough of Girona. Obviously, he'll probably be a little bit defensively suspect, as all Spanish fullbacks are. Whoever the next manager is, I'm not setting any expectations. You know what? That's probably a good way to look at it. Wonder if we'll look at the Leicester coach. Heard he's more possession based. He's part of the list. He is more possession based. You are right about that. He does come from the Manchester City Academy, so he's kind of been grown to their ways, molded in the ways of how Manchester City play. And what's it called? He is more like that. But I think United probably have a little bit more of appreciation for Kieran Mckenna. I think Kieran Mckenna is probably better out of possession as well, and he's more adaptable into his ways. I think United are looking for an adaptable coach, in my opinion. I hope they are, at least in my opinion. And yeah, I think that Leicester team, the way that they almost bottled promotion, despite having the best squad in the league, I'm looking at that Maresca guy like, yo, man, what if he's another company? Because people say, what if McKenna's another company? Company only plays one way. He's not really adaptable. Mckenna, for me, is more adaptable. So, you know, yeah. So, yeah. That's pretty much it on that. Aïnouri is so well-rounded in attacking sense, but he's a little bit weaker, but we can live with that. Right back, there's obviously no one in the green, as you can tell, which I'm fine with because Dalot is, for me, the starting right back at Manchester United. There is absolutely no doubt about that. He's still 24, 25 years old. He should probably have the job for another 5 years. Now it's about getting him the proper competition and the proper depth. Well, disrespect to Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I don't think he's at that level anymore. It's best that United and him part ways. So, yeah, I'm looking at the list. I'm upset. Oh, my God. Oh, I don't want to hear, man. I just want a capable backup right back, man. Oh. Anyways. Kyle Walker-Peters for Jeremy Frimpong. I wouldn't mind Kyle Walker-Peters. I've always said that when it comes to fullbacks, if United can only sign one fullback this year, we can't sign both a left back and a right back. I'd go get Kyle Walker-Peters. He could play both sides, left back and right back. Best of both worlds. You keep him. You sign him for about 2-3 years. He's still young. He's quick. He can defend. Solid deal, in my opinion. I think he's a solid Premier League fullback, and he can provide good depth for Luke Shaw and Dalot. So I wouldn't mind that. Jeremy Frimpong, ladies and gentlemen, is not a right back. He's not a right wing back. The guy's just a winger. I don't care. Don't sign him under any circumstances to play in the back four. It just doesn't make sense. I think if United sign him, he'll automatically flop at this football club. And the guys in red, there's a reason why they're in red. Let's not look at that. Hopefully Mckenna can evolve his game model. Yeah, I think he will. I think obviously depending on the squad, he'll kind of adjust it a little bit. And I just hope he keeps the key principles that he has the same and then just goes about it. Dalot is very durable. Knock on wood always. So AW saying for one more season might not be bad, as especially if we have two left backs. So Dalot, yeah, I mean I hear that. That is fair. Obviously, you are right about that. The left back room is very thin right now because Alvaro Fernandez's option to Benfica got triggered, so he won't be here next year. Tara Malacia has fallen off the face of the earth, so we don't know where he is. We don't have left backs, so Almas, thank you. If we can only sign either a left back or a right back, who would you prefer, Michael? I'd go right back only because right backs can also adjust to playing left back much more easier than a left back can adjust to playing a right back. So, also I think so yeah, I'd go with that. But then again, Kwambala can play right back, and I seen what Mckenna did with Twanzebe. Kwambala is a very similar profile to a Twanzebe, so maybe he could do something with Kwambala right back and kind of have the left. Yo, that's a good question. That's a good question. Shit. I think Almas is not ready. I think one more year of youth football alone would do him well. By the way, Mob still said we have like 35 million cash net. Nah, it's 125, bro. It's right here. The budget's 125. We're good, man. Don't believe Chris Fuller, man. Every year, United only have 50 mil to spend, and we end up spending 200 mil. Nah, this guy's can piss off, man. Thiago Ta, who's that? I meant to know who that is. Talking about Thiago Santos. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind a left back, man. I wouldn't mind a left back. Almas is what, 17? If you're good enough, you're old enough. Yeah, but I think he needs a little bit more physical development. But we'll see, man. No, I mean after you. Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, I think United have money to spend, man, and I think we're gonna offload a lot of players. So we'll see. I think for me, like for example, Jadon Sancho will pretty much pay for Olise for the most part. So yeah, man. Center mid. Actually, I'm gonna leave that for last because I think that's a crucial position, and there's a lot of names there. Center back. So I'm guessing so the left side is the left center backs. So Jared Branthwaite's the number one option. That's been a given for a long time now. Let me read this comment real quick. The best options on the market, in my opinion, is Mckenna and De Zerbi. They play really similar football. The worst that can happen is we get a journey manager like Poch and Tuchel. By the way, Poch has been fiending for but Poch. I've always said this. If Poch was ever going to become a United manager, the right time was after Louis van Gaal left, when Poch's stocks were at the highest, or after he got sacked by Spurs. United pulled the trigger on Ole and they got Poch earlier. After that, I think he missed his turn. Like Mckenna mentioned, right? The United job only really comes around once. He just missed his turn, man. It's peak for him. I'm thinking Mckenna will have to change his model, more possession based and less transition. I don't think I have bad news for you when it comes to that. I think McKenna is gonna obviously he'll have his possession style principles, but he will also implement transition based principles at United. Obviously, don't forget who he worked under. He worked under Ole, who was really not transition heavy based, but kind of just attack quickly. I think you'll have that with Mckenna, especially when you look at his high press that he has with both fullbacks back in the press. He's gonna try to suffocate you out of possession. So I do think United will be a little bit transition heavy, and in big games, Mckenna does not mind being the more pragmatic team, which I don't mind, to be honest. I've always said this. I don't mind pragmatism if it leads to winning. In certain games, obviously, I'm not saying being pragmatic the whole year, but look at Atalanta, for example, right? They're a very high-pressing team, man marking, but they also know how to be pragmatic. We saw in the Europa League final against Leverkusen. That kind of pragmatism, for me, works. So I'm not mad at that. Whatever 7ZUK said, center back, I like Scalvini, but for Atalanta, he played in the back three. Not sure how he'd do on to. Yeah, I think Scalvini's a DM, in my opinion, long term. But I do like him too. I mean, if we want to become, I guess, yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't even know. Obviously, Pep has kind of created the image of what the best team in the world looks like, but not everyone is Pep. Actually, no one is Pep. So we don't know what the best team in the world looks like after Pep leaves, bro. Who knows, right? But yeah. Adam Clary with a 4-4-2 did a very good breakdown of Ipswich Town style of play, by the way. Yeah, I've read a couple of them with Mckenna. The breakdowns, man. for me, he's a more advanced version of what Ole was. All right, obviously, I talked about the out of possession prowess that he has, that kind of stuff. He's a little bit similar. He really wants to bait the press. You could tell. He loves baiting the press with the right hand side of the team, and then do the quick switch to the left. And then obviously that's why that's why Leif Davis has such a positive impact, because Leif Davis was able to get into so much open space, and when his final third prowess when it comes to passing, it created a lot of chances for them. So with a Luke Shaw, who we can say is similar to Leif Davis, that can work. Dalo and build up bait is amazing. United needs to get a top right center back at that point, to be honest, because the interesting part will be, because I just talked about that. Our best center back in terms of baiting the press is left-handed, is on the left side with Licha. So that will be interesting. Yeah, I was about to say we can do that both sides, because we might end up doing Luke Shaw and Licha baiting the press, the switch to the right-hand side, which would be to Dalo and then Elise. Maybe that works. That'll be an interesting thing about. So we'll see. And then have like a Marcus Rashford kind of playing tucked in a little bit, and then just using his power. So yeah, I'll talk about sustainable play throughout the season. Yeah, I agree with that. United can't be a transition team the whole year. We do have to have some elements of possession. I do think Mckenna will bring that. Obviously, he has to change a little bit, fine tune a little bit. So we'll see. But he does play a 4-2-3-1, and he does play a pivot, which I really do like. If United are smart, they will seek a swap deal for Schlotterberg for Sancho, Tosin on a free, and Diomando Euro for 55. Braithwaite is too unpolished, in my opinion. I wouldn't be mad at that. Schlotterberg has had a fantastic campaign for Dortmund. He's amazing on the ball. So if we could swap Schlotterberg for if we could swap Sancho for Schlotterberg, I'm not mad at that. I'm not gonna lie at that. I'm not mad at that. Not mad at that. Oh, and Euro, of course, would be an amazing option. Big up my boy JJ, big up Grigsby. I'm hoping McKenna game model ends up being similar to Nagelsmann. Yeah, that's a good comparison to make. That's a good outlook on it. But yeah, Braithwaite, we've all talked about Braithwaite, how highly rated he is, but once United scouts, how high I rate him. At the end of the day, though, the price might be too much for him, and I think it all depends. I think what happens with Braithwaite depends on if United get Tosin or not. We'll talk about Tosin soon, so that'll be interesting. But the alternatives to Braithwaite are Maxwell Kilman of Wolves. Not mad at that, personally. I think he's a good center back on the ball. He's really expansive, but I'm a little worried about defensively, but we'll see. Mark Guehi from Palace. Obviously, he plays more on the right side, I believe, but I think he's right-footed, but he's also played left center back under Palace with Joaquin Anderson occupying the right-hand side. I think Guehi will struggle aerially. I just don't really rate him aerially. Yeah, Ipswich were necessarily. Yeah. Leicester and Southampton were pure possession-based footy. That's true. I agree with that. So when you look at their coaches, it makes sense. Especially Southampton have had a lot of city influence within their football club the past couple of years. So it obviously makes a lot of sense. I watched Nice's last game against Slow. Yeah, we'll talk about Todibo. And then the other option is Gonçalo Inácio. I like Gonçalo Inácio. I scouted him a couple of years ago for Sporting. I think he's a good center back, really good on the ball. All my only concern is, can he play in a back four? Ruben Amorim predominantly plays in the back three, so I worry about if he's gonna be able to do it. Right center back, Tosin is the number one choice. Obviously, free transfer. It'd be amazing business for United. Good third center back option. I don't think he could be the only center back though, and I don't think he's quality enough to be our starting right center back. But I wouldn't be mad at it. It'd be a good signing. It could work for a year and then go for a top right center back next year. So yeah, Todibo. I like Todibo based on the fact that he can play both right back and right center back. So versatility, dub. Mckenna, we'll talk about it. I question his wide channel defending. I question his aerial presence. A Todibo-Lisandro center back partnership for me does not work. I'm just not really high on Todibo, to be honest. Obviously, the guy in yellow for me, the number one choice would be Lenny Euro. I think for me, he's as close as you could get to a generational center back prospect right now. Fantastic future. Real Madrid, for some reason, are not going to pay up for him. yo, just get him in and worry about the rest later, man. He's a fantastic center back, bro. He has everything. Wide channel defending, on the ball, switch, everything. If you can get it done, man, I don't care if it's 60 million. You just get it done and you worry about the money later. Go take a loan out. I don't care. That is a must do signing for me. Scalvini, I mentioned. I think for me, long term, he's a DM. Bremer, no thank you. He's the one name in this list of the green and yellow when it comes to center backs, which I don't really like. And then I think it's Anselmino, the Boca Junior center back. I haven't watched enough of him, so I'm not going to say I have a decision on him, but I trust the scouting department and what they see. The one thing I've learned to do is not doubt making that as scouts. Todibo really rash and aggressive as well. Yeah, you can't have two aggressives at center back, so I agree with that. So yeah, we'll see about that, but I'm not mad at the center back options. It's a position that has a lot of depth in the world right now. It's a very stacked position, so United have a lot of options to look at. There's a lot of combinations they can work with. And last but not least, center mid / DM. Obviously, number 6 is the priority position with Casemiro looking likely to leave. Højlund. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and say I watched a lot of Højlund. First of all, the first time I ever heard his name, I thought we just misspelled Højlund. For Sporting, he plays obviously. The one thing I look at as a positive is Sporting build up in a 3-1-6. I hate that formation so much. But yeah, he plays in a 3-1-6, and he's always plays as the base, that one. He's always been that one. And he's done a pretty decent job. They won the league, so he's done a decent job. So I wouldn't be mad at that. So he looks good, and if he's the green, that means the scouts must really love him, right? So we'll see. That yellow list is very, very stacked. And for me, first of all, United need to sign 2 players from this list. Let's say it's Højlund and then someone from the yellow list, right? United need to sign 2 of these guys. But you could also go 2 from the yellow, and then opens up a lot more room for center back, which I'm not mad at. I think for me, if United need to prioritize, spend bigger at center back. You could always find midfielders, especially when you have a gem like Kobbie Mainoo in the midfield. You can definitely go a little bit cheaper with the midfield. But that's just me, though. That's just me. First name, Amadou Onana. Tactical favorite. Everyone loves him. I love him. You guys know CK. CK is probably the president of the Onana fan club. He's a great player. The price is my biggest concern. But in terms of the fit with Mainoo, because I'm going to look at this from a fit with Mainoo perspective, right? Because Kobbie Mainoo is the gem. He's the one you build the midfielder on. So you have to look at midfielders that fit with him. I think for me, Onana is the perfect fit next to Mainoo. I've always said the bouncer to Mainoo's, like he's the bodyguard for Mainoo, right? He'll clean up all the dirty work. Is he a natural 6? No, but what I said about Kieran Mckenna? Kieran Mckenna plays in a pivot, and the pivot of Kobbie Mainoo and Amadou Onana is absolutely sensational. That could do a really good job. So I hope United go that route. I wouldn't be mad at that. I go left to right. Dewsbury Hall. I don't think United need him. I'm not going to lie. I just don't see it. We have a lot of 8s. I think we have Mason Mount already. We don't need him. Joao Neves. Amazing player. You could probably say he has the highest ceiling out of all these players. But 100 mil, the Benfica scam, no thank you. Wish him the best of luck, though. Kieran Thuram, the Nice connection. He's available for 15 mil. Good price. I just don't like the fit with Mainoo. I think like Paradox mentioned, like the passing will be a problem with Onana and Mainoo midfield. I think Onana is a better passer than Kieran Thuram. They're very similar players, so I'm not sure about that. But yeah, it might also help Mainoo. Yeah, obviously Mainoo might help Mainoo grow. It'll be interesting what we do with that. I take Dewsbury Hall. Leave Eriksen leaving. I mean, that's true. Eriksen is leaving, so I wouldn't mind it. But it depends what Leicester want, right? If we get him done for like 20 mil, not a bad price. So I want a Ross Barkley on a free, man. Say no to Benfica always, man. Hashtag say no to Benfica, man. They've been running scams on all the Premier League clubs, bro. It's time we put a stop to it. On the right, we have Hayden Hackney, Middlesbrough legend. Michael Carrick legend. Hayden Hackney, amazing player. I would love to do the signing. I've said it for about a year now. United need to go sign championship players. And I know I just said no to Dewsbury Hall, but I think Hayden Hackney has a higher ceiling than Dewsbury Hall. Hayden Hackney would be a sensational signing for Manchester United. That is something that needs to get done. Get that deal done. You can get it. You can get it done for cheap from Middlesbrough. Send Carrick another midfielder from Carrington as compensation if you have to. Get it done. Promise you, get it done. Would be an amazing signing. Joao Gomez from Wolves. He just got added to the list, I believe, as well. I don't know about the price for it, but he's a fantastic midfielder. And I said, if we could, I would really raid Wolves for about 3 players. Ait Nuri, Joao Gomez, and Mateus Cunha, who's not on the list, unfortunately. That pains me to say. More than you believe. Joao Gomez has the minerals, man. Joao Gomez has the minerals. Be a good midfielder. Haven't watched Hackney much, but that's performance versus Chelsea. Yeah, amazing player. Wade Barrett just dissed Ten Hag last. Did he actually? Shout out Wade Barrett, man. Shout out Wade Barrett. Well, depends how you set up, because IP Ipswich, you don't have Leach defending channels, and why you acting like he hasn't played a full season during exposed. Well, what are you guys talking about? I don't know. I don't know who you guys talking about. Well, yeah. Zuba Mendy. No, that's never happening. Last but not least, Yusuf Fofana. I wouldn't mind the Yusuf Fofana Hayden Hackney midfield kind of spending money on. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I think that'd be good business done. You could probably get that done for 40 mil. Fofana Mainu might work. The former's pass volume. Yeah. I think for me in a pivot, Fofana Mainu really works. And yeah, man, just go with that. I could really work with that, because also Ipswich set up in attack also goes sometimes 4-2-4. So you have like your base. So you'd have a Fofana Mainu, then you probably have like a Rashford, then probably like an Ahmad out wide, or Elise, whoever the hell it is, and then you have Hoyland, and you have like a Bruno next to him. So the second striker kind of stuff. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Second strike. That's an interesting thing to think about. I wonder what it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting. But I wouldn't mind it. Fofana a good ball carrier, but that guy can't pass at all. Yeah, obviously that is the one concern, the passing range of those guys. But we could just wait. We could wait another year for another top midfielder, man. I think we could. But also, like, the thing is, though, like, if you have top center backs on the ball, you can get away with kind of the lack of passing in the midfield, in my opinion. But we'll see, right? We'll see. But that's the names. In the red, obviously, you have Gray. Oh, Archie Gray. Wish, but Leeds legacy. Palacios, wish we could get him. Leverkusen. Sheik Decore from Milan. From Crystal Palace. Amazing. But I'm so sad. I just realized Adam Moore is not on this list. Next year, summer 2025 will be there, man. Mikel Marino, the other Sociedad boy. Hey, man, it's not the best in midfield. It's not the worst, though. Adam Moore in 2025, bro. That's the final piece. That's the missing piece of the puzzle. We'll be there, man. We'll be there. But yeah, that's a good list. I'm not gonna mad at it. If let's say, where's Eze on this? We're never getting Eze, brother. We're never getting Eze, unfortunately. I think United probably viewed him as a left wing too when he's not on the list. But if I had to go, let's say I had to choose one signing from each of these, from this whole list, from each of these positions, I'd go at striker. We'll do green and yellow, because obviously red is not happening. I'd go Garassi. I'm fine with either Elisa or Nico Williams. I'm not mad at it. Left back, either one of that I or Kirk just works. Right back, I'd go Kyle Walker-Peters. Center back, expensive choice would be Branthwaite Euro. Pay the bread. Tosin Euro works for me. Kilman Euro works for me. Tosin could work. We need to get Euro, man. Those right center backs moves are now moving me, man. Interesting. The center back one is weird. We'll think about that though. Center mid. I'm fine with Onana. Hackney works for me. Fofana Hackney works for me. Hoyman Hackney works for me. Uh, Joao Gomez. You could just pick. You could pick. I think any name from the green and the yellow for the center mid, as long as it's not really a Kefren Turam, Joao Neves, and Zubamendi, I'm fine with. I'm fine with Onana. I'm fine with Hackney. I'm fine with Gomez. I'm fine with Fofana. You could work with that. So we'll see from there. We can dream about it. We can certainly dream. Loki, this is an exciting job. Yeah, I'm excited, man. This is where, like, bro, it's time to put up or shut up when it comes to Indians. Like, bro, you have a lot of options available for you. I'm hoping for once in their life, once in this club's life, that we finally listen to our scouts, because a lot of these guys are probably scout recommended. Let's see. At least he's a must make or breaks our window. That could be a point to make. So many good managers with no clear best available candidate. Lots of good young players in Europe and elsewhere that you can sign. Yeah, absolutely, man. Fabricio Barkley tweet. What if Fabricio tweet? First of all, let's close this. Fabrizio. Ross Barkley, you was the chosen one, man. Sir Ross Barkley. Lindelof and Maguire, who leads in your opinion? If my God is real, Victor Lindelof leads this football club. I am praying to Lord Zeus, and I'm praying to Poseidon if I have to. Lindelof must lead this football club. It needs to happen. I know you're a Maguire fan. And Maguire has won me over this year. I'm not gonna lie. And I also like the quote that he had a couple days ago, kind of hitting back at Ten Hag. And if you perform, the booze will stop. But yeah, Lindelof needs to lead the football club. Certainly needs to lead the football club. It's a must. It's a priority. And if he doesn't lead the football club this summer, I think questions need to be raised for Ineos. We need to look at them with the side eye. Why is Victor Lindelof not gone? I'm not saying to be disrespectful to the guy, bro. Good guy, good professional, tries his best. But at the end of the day, I don't think he's at the quality for Manchester United. And I'm not saying Harry Maguire is at the quality for Manchester United as a starting level player. I don't think he is either. But one thing Casemiro, that guy's definitely not starting quality. One thing Harry Maguire has proven to me this season is that he could do the third center back role really well. He's fine coming off the bench and putting in a performance, putting in a shift. And I just think he's better. And at the end of the day, I just think he's a better center back than Victor Lindelof. As simple as that, man. Maguire, Todibo could be. Yeah, I mean Todibo with a aerially dominant Harry Maguire next to him could work a little bit better for him. Yeah, Maguire left center back though. I sometimes worry. Rather buy from Sporting or Porto rather than Benfica. I agree, man. Sporting is a good place to buy recently. More Benfica hype with Lindelof. Benfica, man. That club is something. What was that Amadou Onana thing with SCG? All right, before we get into trouble with that, apparently it's been rumored that maybe something with agents or something like that. But apparently Ten Hag was the reason why Onana wasn't able to join Manchester United. And look at who we signed this summer instead. We signed Mason Mount. Cool, man. Imagine we had Amadou Onana instead. Maybe the season goes differently. This guy, bro. Anything to do with SCG from this football club needs to get rid of this summer, except Rasmus Højlund. And if I have to give one advice to Rasmus Højlund, I would tell you this, Rasmus. Cut ties with SCG and cut ties with that guy from the United stand. You know, we all know who I'm talking about. Just cut ties, bro. Just cut ties. What happened to Diomande hype? Well, it died down. It's probably still a good center back, man. I don't know. I just haven't watched enough of Sporting this year. Do you think we should keep Rashford? I do. But I've always said this. With Rashford, if he wants to leave, let him leave. First of all, let him leave. Second of all, this fan base has gotten very toxic with Marcus Rashford. And at the end of the day, bro, I said this on Wednesday. We know what happened with the Euros and stuff like that. Didn't get called up. I think it's at a point where you can't come back from it with the relationship between him and the fans, and maybe just best to move on, man. Just go enjoy your life somewhere else. Go get your love of football back. Because one thing I'll say about Marcus Rashford is that he has lost his love for football, playing for this dumb club. So yeah, man. he wants to stay, he could stay. I think for me, I think Kieran Mckenna would love working with him, but at the end of the day, for me, it's up to Marcus Rashford and it's up to the football club if they get an offer. Maguire got some attributes to his game. What does Lindelof got? I'm not gonna say, man. Would you take Leaf Davis? Absolutely, I'll take Leaf Davis. Bro, absolutely. We went for Amrabat, yeah. Big up the boy Hassan. Big up Griggsy. Big up. Give it up, brother. I'm not even gonna say that club's name. And second of all, my club has a chance to make history next week. Olympiacos Europa Conference League final next Wednesday. Depending on where I am, I might do a watch along for that. We'll see. But we have a chance to make history. And I have an article dropping that will be dropping on Monday for Urban Pitch on the history of the Greek Football League and the road that we've gotten to here with Olympiacos, kind of how it's gotten to here. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, Olympiacos every single day of the week, man. Just get off social media in general. Yeah, I agree with that. Hoyland needs some good people around him. Don't like how he's associated with the United States. I agree with that as well. Yeah, I answered this. If good offers come in for players, the club will have to look at them. For me, only Garnacho, Mainu, and Hoyland are not for sale, which David Ornstein did report a month ago that those three players are not up for sale, which is fine for me. I think Ahmad should also be part of that list. I don't think Ahmad should be put up for sale. I think Ahmad has a high ceiling for this football club if utilized correctly. And I think someone like a Kieran Mckenna would absolutely love working with Amad Diallo. And I hope he gets given the chance, man, because we've seen the past 3 games the level of quality Amad Diallo possesses. And certain people from Netherlands started Anthony for 8 months over him. I digress, though. It is what it is. But yeah, if you guys have any final questions, drop them in the chat. I'll try my best to answer them. If not, it's been a good show. We did an hour. Got 27 people in here. Y'all was very active in the comments. I appreciate every single one of you. Always showing me love. Yeah, man, the season's almost over, obviously. I might just need to stay fit, man. When he got hurt in Jersey for that preseason game, man, pig, brother. Where do you think Ahmad plays in McKenna's system? Right wing. I think he plays right wing. I look at how he uses his right wingers. He loves a left-footed right winger. It'll be interesting, but he might also use him as a 10. I think Ahmad's versatility will be really useful for Mckenna. I think he uses them both as a 10 and a right winger. But I think all depends who we sign on the right wing too, right? JJ, if we do sign Elise, I do think we'll see more of Ahmad in the 10. Because like I said, bro, Bruno Fernandes' time at Manchester United is coming to an end. Maybe not this season, but it's coming up, right? You can see the light is at the end of the tunnel soon when it comes to that. Like you can see it's almost time. And by the way, big up Bruno for dropping the Player Tribune article. It was a nice touch. Some nice stuff. It was kind of emotional. And I've gained a level of appreciation for Bruno over I think probably this past year. He'll never be my ideal cup of tea when it comes to a footballer. I think he's very frustrating at times. But one thing I'll never question about Bruno Fernandes is, first of all, his mentality. He has a top mentality as a footballer. And the way he approaches the football game when it comes from a mentality point of view is absolutely sensational. His leadership, maybe off the pitch, I think he's a good leader. And yeah, man. And also the third thing is I've seen him with Marcus Rashford and stuff like that. I mean, I've seen him with other players that kind of just are not fit to wear the jersey at times. The pressure of the United jersey is very, very heavy. And players that have performed post Fergie have overexceeded despite the pressure of the shirt. I have a different level of appreciation for it. So I'm talking about players like Marcus Rashford. I'm talking about players like Bruno Fernandes. I'm talking about players like Paul Pogba, Anthony Martial. Those kind of guys, bro, they overperformed. Mckenna is our new coach. Yeah. If he does become our full coach, I'll pull up the tweets about like the breakdown and stuff like that and look at it a little bit more than that. So yeah, I like Bruno as a person. Wish he moved me that much as a footballer. Yeah. At the end of the day, like I said, he's not my cup of tea, but he's a great person. That's the most important thing at the end of the day too. And he tries his best, and he loves the football club, bro. The guy cried when he signed for us, bro. He heard he might go to Spurs, and he got depressed. Bruno, yeah. At the end of the day, you could also say that Bruno played in the worst era for Manchester United. Maybe it's kind of like a player that should have played a little bit earlier for us, man. But he did it. But he tried his best at United, and in a way, if he does win the FA Cup tomorrow, it wouldn't even be the worst way to go out. Back-to-back seasons with lifting a trophy as captain. That's a good way to go out, man. It's a good way to go out. But I don't think he wants Saudi. He wants to play. He wants to be at the top level. So, but like he said in the interview, in the article, he's gonna talk with Ineos. and he's gonna see whether if they're interests align when it comes to long term Manchester United. Obviously, I think Ratcliffe has said a 3-year plan to compete. Maybe Bruno doesn't want to wait 3 years. Who knows, man? We'll see. Also, I'm interested to see how this if Mckenna is to be the coach, how the players react to it. Because I did say the players have a relationship with them, but don't forget these are the same players that also leaked out during the end of Ole's reign that they weren't the happiest with Mckenna's training methods. So we'll see, right? It'll be interesting to think about. I don't think Bruno was one of them players because you could tell Bruno was very sad when Ole left. You could tell how he was probably one of the last few people that Ole had on his side. So I don't think Bruno was one of them. But who else is here from that time? Marcus Rashford's still here. Scott McTominay is still here. Martial's gone. Maguire's still here. Luke Shaw, Dalo, like Wan-Bissaka. So like you still have a few players, right? So we'll see, man. Yeah, it is almost a whole new team, so it'll be interesting. But a couple of the key players, first of all, I think the 3 key players are still here. Like Inez, Luke Shaw, Marcus Rashford, Bruno Fernandes, yada yada. So it'll be interesting. But oh man, Mckenna Hive, we will be there, man. We will be there. But that's pretty much it, guys. Like I said, appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'll be on Saeed's in about 45 minutes, 4 o'clock, so 9 p.m. UK time. We have a lot to talk about, obviously, with the news. And I will be bringing my Mckenna prop because I saw Saeed's video yesterday. He was kind of disrespecting my gaffer. So we might have some important discussions to have, right? Crazy to think Shaw has been here 10 years. 10 years. Yeah, it's actually crazy. He has been here 10 years, but he's been quality for some of them. I heard Staffy and Saeed. I'll convert Staffy. Don't worry about it. Saeed might take a little bit longer, though. He still has only PTSD. So we'll see. But yeah, I appreciate y'all guys. I'm in the process of moving, so I don't know how to record tomorrow post FA Cup final. But what the hell with it? What? I don't know, man. That's what the sheets are saying, Staffy. That's what the sheets are saying. But yeah, I don't know if I'll be on tomorrow, but I'll definitely be on there next week, and we'll see what happens, especially if Mckenna joins. Hopefully, we get some more concrete news. And like I said, maybe watch along next Wednesday for Olympiacos Fiorentina Conference League final live from Athens. We will be there. And obviously, Euro start in about 3 weeks' time, and we will definitely be on the content rise for that. So be on the lookout. Turn your notification bell on, and make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, like I said. And yeah, I'll catch y'all guys later. Peace. Yeah, as Jake W says, that's what the streets are saying, Staffy. The streets are onto you. Peace.